Jesus died on a Friday. He rose on a Sunday. But what happened in between? For 3 days the Son of God was somewhere. And the Bible hints at a journey so mysterious, so controversial, that most churches refuse to touch it. Where did Jesus go when he died on that cross? Some say paradise, some say the grave, and others say he descended into hell itself. Hell 3 days mystery. The Apostles' Creed, recited by billions, contains a phrase that haunts theologians to this day. He descended into hell. But is that what Scripture actually teaches? Did Jesus really go to the realm of the damned? Did he preach to demons? Did he battle Satan on his own turf? Or is there something far more profound and far more hopeful hidden in those silent hours between death and resurrection? What you're about to discover will challenge everything you thought you knew about the cross, the grave, and the victory that happened in the darkness. The creeds claim. Let's start with the phrase that sparked this controversy. The Apostles' Creed declares, "He descended into hell." He descended into hell. This creed wasn't written by the apostles themselves. It developed over centuries as an early church statement of faith. But that phrase, it didn't appear in the earliest versions. It was added later around the 4th century. So where did it come from? The Latin word used is infernus, which can mean hell, but also simply the lower regions or the realm of the dead. In Hebrew thought, this was called Sheol. In Greek, Hades. Neither of these automatically means the place of eternal punishment. They simply refer to where the dead go. Sheol, Hades, death. Think about it, every ancient culture had a concept of an underworld. The Hebrews were no exception. When someone died, their soul went to Sheol, a shadowy realm of waiting. But here's where it gets interesting. Sheol had compartments, and Jesus, according to Scripture, went to a very specific place. But was it really what we picture when we think of hell? Paradise promise. The clearest clue comes from Jesus himself, spoken in his final hours on the cross. A criminal hung beside him, a man guilty of his crimes, and in his dying breath, this thief made a request that changed everything. "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus responded with words that should settle this debate forever. "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Paradise, not tomorrow, not after some mysterious journey, today, the same day they both died. Jesus told this man they would be together in paradise. Now, paradise is not hell. It's not a place of torment. The Greek word paradisos refers to a garden of delight, the same word used for Eden. Jesus promised the thief they would be together in paradise that very day. So if Jesus went to paradise, how could he have also gone to hell? Unless there's more to the story. Unless the realm of the dead was more complex than we imagined. And that's exactly what ancient Jewish thought teaches. The dead didn't all go to the same place, and that changes everything. The Great Divide. Jesus himself taught about this division in a story that most people completely misunderstand. The parable of the rich man and Lazarus. A wealthy man dies and finds himself in torment. A poor beggar named Lazarus dies and rests in Abraham's bosom. Torment, Abraham, bosom, divide. And between them, a great chasm, fixed, uncrossable. Listen to what Abraham says. "Between us and you a great gulf has been fixed, so that those who want to go from here to you cannot, nor can anyone cross over from there to us." This wasn't a parable about heaven and hell as we think of them. This was about Sheol, the realm of the dead, which had two distinct compartments. One side, Abraham's bosom, also called paradise, a place of comfort for the righteous dead. The other side, a place of torment for the unrighteous. Both were in the realm of the dead, but they were separated by an infinite divide. So when Jesus died, he went to Abraham's bosom, paradise, the place where righteous souls waited. But why were they waiting? And what was Jesus about to do there? The captives free. Here's where it gets powerful. Before the cross, no one could enter heaven. The gates were closed. Paradise was a waiting room. Think about Abraham, Moses, David, the prophets. Where did they go when they died? They couldn't enter God's presence in heaven because the price for sin hadn't been paid yet. They waited in paradise, in Abraham's bosom, comforted but not yet home. Then Jesus came, and on that cross he cried out, "It is finished." The debt was paid. The way was open. When Jesus died, he descended to paradise and led the captives free. Paul writes in Ephesians 4, "When he ascended on high, he led captives in his train." When he ascended on high, he led captives in his train. Jesus didn't go to torment the damned. He went to liberate the righteous. He went to paradise and announced, "The price is paid. The gates of heaven are open. Come home." Liberation. Every Old Testament saint who died in faith, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Elijah, David, they were finally brought into God's presence. This is what those 3 days accomplished. Not a battle with Satan in hell, a victory parade in paradise, preaching to spirits. But wait, there's another verse that confuses people. 1 Peter 3:19 says Christ went and made proclamation to the imprisoned spirits. Spirits prison preaching. Some read this and imagine Jesus preaching salvation to demons or giving a second chance to the damned. But look closer. Who are these spirits in prison? Peter tells us in the very next verse, they are those who disobeyed long ago when God waited patiently in the days of Noah. This is a reference to Genesis 6, the mysterious sons of God who corrupted humanity before the flood. Many scholars believe these were fallen angels, now imprisoned, awaiting judgment. Jesus didn't offer them salvation. He announced their doom. The Greek word for proclamation here is kerusso, a herald's announcement. It's not the word for preaching the gospel. Jesus went to these rebellious spirits and declared, "I have won. Your rebellion has failed. The Son of Man you tried to destroy is victorious." This was not an offer of mercy, but a declaration of victory. This wasn't mercy. This was conquest, and it leads us to what happened when Jesus left that realm. Keys of death. In Revelation, the risen Jesus makes a stunning declaration. "I am the living one. I was dead, and now look, I am alive forever and ever. And I hold the keys of death and Hades." The keys of death and Hades. Think about what that means. A key represents authority, ownership, control. Before the resurrection, death had power. Hades held its captives. Satan thought he had won, but Jesus took the keys. He didn't just visit the realm of the dead, he conquered it. He stripped it of its authority. He walked out holding the keys that lock and unlock death itself. Keys. This is why Paul could later mock death. "Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting?" Death lost its sting because Jesus took its keys. Death defeated, keys taken. For 3 days it looked like death had won. The disciples hid in fear. The enemy celebrated. But in the darkness of the tomb, Jesus was completing the greatest heist in cosmic history, stealing the keys from death's cold hands. But what does this mean for you today? Absent from body. After the resurrection, everything changed. Paradise is no longer in the realm of the dead. When Jesus led the captives home, he emptied Abraham's bosom. Now when believers die, they go immediately into God's presence. Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 5:8, "To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord." Not to be present in paradise waiting. Present with the Lord. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. In Philippians, Paul says his desire is to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. He doesn't say he'll go to a waiting room. He'll be with Christ. Present with Christ. This is the fruit of those 3 days. Because Jesus descended, conquered, and rose, the gates of heaven are now open to every believer. When a Christian dies today, there is no delay, no waiting in Sheol, no intermediate state. Immediately face to face with Jesus. The thief on the cross was promised paradise that day. And because of what Jesus accomplished, you have the same promise. This changes how we view death itself. Victory complete. So did Jesus go to hell? Not the hell of eternal punishment. He went to the realm of the dead and he conquered it. He went to paradise and liberated the righteous who had waited for centuries. He proclaimed victory to the rebellious spirits who thought they had won. He took the keys of death and Hades from the enemy's grasp. And he rose again, not just as a survivor, but as the conqueror of the grave. Death could not hold him. Hell could not contain him. The resurrection isn't just proof that Jesus was divine. It's proof that everything in those 3 days accomplished exactly what it was meant to accomplish. The grave became a doorway, and death became a defeated enemy. Colossians 2:15 says he disarmed the powers and authorities and made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. Having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them. Those 3 days weren't a mystery to fear. They were a victory to celebrate, and that victory is now yours. For 3 days the world held its breath. The disciples thought it was over. The enemy thought he had won. But in the darkness between Friday and Sunday, something extraordinary was happening. Jesus descended not to be tortured in hell, but to complete his mission. Paradise liberated victory declared. He liberated the righteous dead who had waited for centuries. He proclaimed his victory to every rebellious power. He took the keys of death itself. And on the 3rd day, he walked out of that tomb with all authority in heaven and on earth. Because he conquered death, you never have to fear it again. This is what the cross accomplished. Not just forgiveness, complete victory over sin, over death, over hell itself. And because of those 3 days, when you close your eyes for the last time on this earth, you will open them in the presence of Jesus. No waiting room, no fear, just home. O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting? Stay in the Word, stay in the Spirit, and never forget the one who holds the keys is holding you. If this opened your eyes, subscribe for more. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.